intrepid explorers leave the safety of their shelter and head toward the mysterious smoke column. They journey across the white, bleak, and desolate wastes of the tundra. They make it to the forest on the coast, where they find some delicious seals on the nearby beach, and also the site of the Great Fire, which they determine to be some kind of massive knoll funeral pyre. They find tracks leading south, which they follow to the edge of the forest. That evening they discover that once wood is chopped, it starts rapidly aging, which is the reason for the ready supply of firewood. This, they find, is a reaction similar to the frozen body they found earlier. The next day, they once more start crossing the open tundra, despite misgivings from some members of the party. A sudden storm engulfs them during their crossing. While hastily trying to set up their tent, they hear a growl, and a massive white wolf emerges from the storm. The beast has obvious supernatural abilities, but they manage to slay it nonetheless, and while they do, the storm dissipates. They keep traveling and reach the edge of the forest, where they make camp, and Yaramir treats their wounds. They decide to stay a few days to rest up, so spend some time stockpiling supplies, which turns out to be a good thing as a blizzard kicks up, keeping them locked up for several days. But the party's spirits remain high. They resume their journey south and reach the area where the mountain range meets the sea, and they find a trail leading up the mountain, which they follow after hiding their sleigh. The climb is arduous, and mist obscures their vision, leading some to ponder if they have reached the edge of the world. The path ends, but Grimes scouts ahead and sees a cave entrance. With some help from Grimes, the party crosses safely to the cave, but discovers it is home to a family of Yetis. Once again, the party is in a fight for their lives. They slaughter their foes, and while they find a treasure trove in the cave, they find nothing to indicate the cave is man-made. However, the next day, the mist is gone, and from the vantage of the cave mouth, they spot a lighthouse in the distance. Hope is restored at the sign of civilization. What will the lighthouse reveal? Is there anything special or dangerous about the Yeti treasure? How long will the party get along with each other? Let's find out now on Frozen Frontier.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Frozen Frontier. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Doing well.
Yeah. And look at that. The mic problem stopped right as we went live. Wonderful. We've already had our What We Did this week. If you haven't caught that, you need to catch the VOD, which is on Twitch. The full VOD, which is on Twitch. And we've already had our recap, so we can more or less hop into game here.
All right.
You guys are in a Yeti cave, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
At the other end of the place.
I recall not having answered a very important question. How much meat do we get from these Yetis?
You have 2 Yetis worth of meat.
Oh, yeah. And Ferris skins them. I'm taking that fur. Right, like we didn't get the bear pelts, but we're going to take some Yeti pelts.
All right, well, it's going to take a little while to skin these Yetis.
I figure we're probably going to stay for like a day or two.
Yeah, if you guys want to stay here for a day, that's totally fine. You can
we have
absolutely
already spent
rest.
the night there, right?
Well, not yet. First order of business is looting the place.
Yeah.
Oh, did you want magic items and loot from this place?
Yaramir needs to rest a night in order to cast Detect Magic.
If it's not too much trouble, Neal, it would be nice.
All right.
If you can manage
So you
it.
start digging around through the Yeti's stuff, because the Yeti's got a lot
are
of
we
stuff.
digging around now, or are we? Because Yaramir did say that he wanted to wait a night. So are we digging around now, or are we going to wait in case?
Feel free to dig around as much as you want.
The digging already started. I mean,
Buy other magic items.
yeah, I failed to appraise, so I don't know that I've noticed any particular valuables. But
bunch of stuff. bunch of stuff in coppers and silvers and golds and irons and just a bunch of crap that's lying around that you feel you could haul back for some valuables. I'm going to list 5 of the things that you come across that are the 5 most interesting things that you come across. All the rest of the loot we'll just ignore and place into cash value.
Okay. All right, I'm writing it down.
So are these separate from just point of order? You're going to give us a lump sum cash value. Are these 5 items separate from that cash value? Or are they included in the lump sum? They're just interesting.
They are included in the lump sum. They're just interesting.
Okay.
Actually, I can't give you a lump sum because Ryan failed his appraisal check, so you'll bring it back and you'll get a lump sum for it eventually, but it's going to be an unknown figure for a while.
Okay, cool. Cheers.
The first thing that you find, which is actually kind of buried, it looks like it had something thrown over it, like a little bit of like an animal corpse tossed over it. You don't really notice it until you move beside this animal corpse. There is this slightly odd-looking skull with rubies set in its eyes, and the rubies are like emitting like soft red light in a 30-foot radius. It's also worth noting that the teeth on this skull are like points. They're not like nice, flat teeth like this. They're like pointed teeth throughout it.
Are they naturally pointed or are they like filed to a point?
I was going to ask you to make me an anatomy check anyway to try and determine the nature of this skull.
I will be very happy to make an anatomy check. Give me one moment to pull up character. There we are. And now I have to find proficiency. Okay.
Oh, you made a character sheet?
Oh, 34 bitches! Let's go.
Got a crit.
I'm so up on this anatomy.
All right. I'm going to PM you some things about this, and then you can disseminate this information as you please.
Oh, I have to pull up Discord. Oh, I have to be in the chatty chat.
Yeah, if you actually want any of the sound effects that are playing for chat, you can do Discord audio.
You're not in the chat, Neal.
I don't hear anything.
You're in the wrong chat.
Am I in the wrong chat? I'm in the wrong chat.
God damn it. Play something, Neal, so I can hear it.
There's something playing.
I don't hear it.
It's mountain
It's like
music.
ambience.
Yeah,
It's like
it's chill mountain music.
I'm
You
gonna
got your
have to
volume too
turn
low,
up
man.
Yeah,
the
maybe.
volume.
I'm having all sorts of issues.
Wait, Neal, are you talking through Frozen Frontier, or are you?
No, I'm just talking through Zoom.
So if I make your volume in Discord higher, it's gonna do the music, but not you.
Yes.
Sweet.
Ah.
Yeah,
Good
you
shout.
can right click on my face and
Yep,
move
you're
the
gonna get cranked to 200.
200%.
200% more.
Music's
Neal!
gonna start playing. Oh, you know what probably broke for me? Discord
Oh, is
always
it-
breaks.
Is it because I'm on red? I still don't hear it. Fuck off.
Yeah, I don't hear anything either.
All right, I'm gonna bump up the volume a little bit more. Greg can hear it.
It doesn't. I don't think it. I think it's okay. Discord's been having a problem for me when I join a voice channel. I have to like leave and rejoin for it to work. But now it's just not working at all.
I don't know. Greg can hear me.
Can you hear it, Ryan?
I'm not sure.
All right, let me play something a little bit
Like a
more.
We had a hell of a
interesting.
pre-show, but sound check? Nah. I think I can hear like rumbling, but it's hard to tell. Maybe that's just the rocks in my ears.
No, that's just a car.
I thought I heard a whoosh.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
There we go.
There we-
Yeah,
All right.
that did it.
What
It's
was
very
it?
quiet.
It's just a louder song.
Oh,
That's
it was
all.
really fucking loud.
That
then.
seemed way more appropriate, though, considering this cursed skull that we just uncovered.
Skull is pretty metal. I'll give it that.
Yeah, that went from like loud to unhearable. Oh, I hear that though.
All right, we're fine. It's fine. It's
Whatever.
fine.
I'll live without sound effects. It's fine.
Damn it,
Should
there
not
will be
go
sound
through.
effects.
It's
Oh.
working now. We're good.
Jingling keys, yeah.
All right, cool. It's mountain climbing music. You guys are in a mountain cave. It's appropriate. So there's this skull, right? You guys have got the skull.
Yarmir has identified it.
Will define identified.
He has criticaled his anatomy check.
Yes, this I have.
Pretty looking weird skull, Yaramir.
Grimes is backing away
I'm
slowly.
sorry. What was
a
that
weird look.
Nick?
It's a weird looking skull. What is it?
Do you want the other things too?
Just at least resolve the anatomy check.
Yeah, we're going through them one at a
I
time.
already sent him everything that he needed to know.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So I'm going to start
yes.
listing
So
other shit then, and Greg can speak up when he wants.
If Jaromir is investigating the skull, Grimes is keeping at least one eye on him. He's heard legends of cursed artifacts like this, and if Jaromir goes berserk, we need to be ready to put him down.
There's also a pitchfork end, just like the end, not the haft that was used, that is made out of steel. The wood has long ago rotted away and disappeared, but this like rusted steel pitchfork end is sitting around in here somewhere. There is a large stone with a brass plaque set in it. The words are in a foreign language. There is
I know an ancient common language. Is it that language? And if it's not, is it similar in root?
It is not Old Common, no.
Okay.
And it is not decipherable by someone who speaks Old Common. There is a long, badly damaged sheet of bronze scale mail that wouldn't fit anybody by any imagination.
As in, it's large or small, or
It's like a long sheet of scale mail, and it it wouldn't fit around a person, you know.
it needs to be forged or something.
I
Is
mean,
it
it's intact.
barding?
Is it what?
Is it barding, like a large sheet?
Yeah, it could easily be like half of a horse's barding. Very easily. There's
Okay.
also a large chunk of salt, like a
Whoa, wait, what?
6
Salt?
inch by 6 inch by 6 inch just chunk of salt.
Is Arcadia like real world, where if you find a big salt mine, you're rich forever?
I wouldn't say rich forever, but yes, salt is a valuable commodity.
Okay, cool.
And there's also a 10-foot length of rusted iron chain. And I don't mean like little tiny dinky iron chain, but like, you know, big solid fat links. It probably weighs like 50 pounds.
What? Can't carry that.
But we can
And
string
then
it
there
up,
are assorted other goodies.
I'm
that
assuming
are less
a-
important.
including a winch that
Yes,
Grimes has been tinkering
a weird
with.
winch.
But you take the winch, Grimes. So what's the coin value now?
You don't know.
tell us?
We
Ryan
don't
failed his
have it
appraisal
yet.
check.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm furiously typing notes, but I'm behind. I have odd skull. I have steel pickaxe head. I have stone
Pitchfork
slab
head.
placard.
Pitchfork.
Pitchfork. Yeah.
Speaking about that plaque,
Pitchfork head.
if Ferris takes a look at it, does he recognize the language on it?
No.
Okay.
A long damaged sheet of bronze scale mail.
The barding, large
Chunk of salt. And a
Large
10-foot rusted iron chain.
of bronze, scale mail.
Did you say the chain is iron, Neal?
Yes, I did. Just like the pitchfork end.
It
Barding.
makes 50
question
pounds.
mark.
That's worth a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
You said the pitchfork was specifically steel.
Steel,
Is the
iron are
steel as
fairly
well,
interchangeable
or is the
here.
iron? Well, iron and steel are slightly different.
I do realize iron and steel are different, but for this world's purposes, iron and steel are going to be interchangeable
Okay,
implemental
okay.
concepts.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm missing something.
No, I think you got them all.
I have skull. I have pitchfork head. I have stone slab with placard.
Are we double recording these?
Scale mail. I have large chain.
Oh, salt. Chunk of salt.
Chunk of
Big
salt.
block of salt. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got them all down. So
Yeah.
the chain's
So
actually worth
I think by far the big block of salt is the most valuable thing that we just found.
50 pounds of iron is worth, like, isn't iron worth the same as gold?
Iron is a quarter the price of gold.
Okay, so 2.5 pounds of gold. How much is that in coins? Yaramir, you're smart. But how much
It's
is
a pound for
2.5?
100 pieces.
50.
Yeah, 12 and a half
So we're talking 100 and
pounds
something
of
gold.
Yeah.
Or 12 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
12.
rough calculations, if this is actually 50 pounds, it's worth about 625 gold pieces, which is 62,000 copper.
That's actually worth a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a substantial find.
Yeah,
I figure
Alright.
the salt
I
block
think
is
the
probably worth at
skull
least
is.
10,000 though.
No, what's salt worth? Do I have any gauge
So
of that?
the
At least,
raw
Neal.
material
Let me look
cost
it up.
of iron, if made of copper is 22 points.
Neal's calculator is fucked. Don't even.
No, my calculator is
okay.
fucking legit. Use my calculator.
I will ignore the calculator then.
No, don't. Brian doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just jealous.
I couldn't get it to work. I don't know.
I remember
There's two
struggling
input
with it.
fields, man. If there's an error, it's user error.
Yeah.
Salty about my.
Okay, it
Don't
should be
make fun of
125 electrum for the
But Neil,
the iron.
this skull right, it looks magical.
Yeah,
I think
I mean,
that's-
it's got glowing ruby eyes. It's
Yeah.
magical. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the reason I didn't get a very good. Well, I mean that, and I was distracted by the winch. But that's the clear reason it's difficult to appraise, right? I'm like,
Ooh, a winch.
if you could lift the curse and pop out those rubies, maybe that's 10,000 GP. You take that
I do
curse
not
with you.
believe, these rubies are worth 10,000 GP. I doubt it very much.
Are they're intact rubies, aren't they?
Salt is 70 copper for a pound, or you can buy 10 pounds for 600 copper. So it is valuable, but it is not like end all be all, worth his weight in salt valuable. Well, I guess someone's weight in salt would still be very, very valuable.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not the point for the,
You said it was 70
Gold.
copper per 10 pounds
70 copper per pound,
per pound.
or if you can buy in bulk, it's 600 copper for 10 pounds.
How large
So-
is this winch that you found, Ryan?
I don't know. That I think big enough for one rope to go in, one rope to go out. And it's got a
Yeah, but
little
it's
crank
also-
dealie that like pulls the rope through.
It also doesn't look like it's
iron
working.
chain of an anchor for a ship winch, or like winch for a personal rope use.
It's for a rope, I believe.
It is a rope winch,
Right?
definitely.
You said it's not work. I thought you said it did. It does it not work?
Like
If
it clinks, it turns, but like
if I feed rope through, it doesn't actually do anything.
no, there's clearly some sort of damaged component to it. It's maybe fixable if you have someone who could fix these sorts of mechanical things.
I would
Maybe.
100% suggest keeping that.
you never know when you'll need a winch. Neil, how much does the loot in total weigh then, aside from the chain?
Too damn much.
I didn't write it down, but it's going to be a lot. It's going to probably, even without the chain, it's still probably going to be in like this 60-pound area. That sheet of brass, bronze scale mail is pretty heavy. So let's call it 50 pounds before the chain, another 50 with the chain.
So 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So I am.
Gentlemen, I suggest we not risk trying to carry all this loot back in one go. We've got another shipment coming in with supplies. I could track a safer route between this cave and the trail.
It's a long way to walk back though.
We don't have, hundreds of days of rations to carry on the sled. Carrying back some loot with us is the
Hey,
least
here-
William could manage.
Question is, we are needing to have boat travel to Lighthouse anyway. Is it not possible to have boat make pit stop here to gather loot?
I don't think we can take a boat to the lighthouse because it's not going to wait around for us to come back.
They'd always tell it to pick us up after a predetermined time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly
but-
what you do. You hire the boat for a period of time, and they'll like wait for you, or they'll come back and pick you up, whichever makes more sense at the time.
All right. Well, it seems risky to me, but
Well, I mean, take what we can, but for very heavy things and things that are too much, leave here.
sure. Yeah. No. If,
I'm
if
going-
the plan is to come back on a boat, then why not?
Ferris is gonna break off a decent chunk of this salt block and keep it for seasoning.
Nice.
Okay.
Probably 5
Now we
pounds
will
of it.
have salty food.
You're gonna take
Yeah.
5 pounds of salt in your backpack.
Oh yeah. How big? I want a decent amount. I'm not gonna thoroughly salt food, but I want it to last a while, right? How much would a decent chunk of salt?
I mean, 5 pounds of salt will last you
A
10
lifetime?
years, man.
All right, I'll take.
You don't need that
Fine,
much salt.
fine. I'll
Well,
take
I mean,
3 pounds of salt.
If he's salting lots of meat for us,
Yeah. Why
I
not?
guess, are you going to be our industrial meat salter?
I think Grimes sees Ferris do this and he picks up some of the crumbs as well.
Yeah.
I've got a pound added.
I feel like. Go ahead.
I spend some time investigating the skull and using my fingers to take measurements and looking
Don't
at
touch it!
it. And I I of course will touch it. It is okay. Do not worry. I am expert in these matters.
Yaramir, what is it?
If you get cursed, I'm leaving you here.
If I get cursed, that will be least of my problems.
Those Yetis didn't look cursed.
Are you kidding me?
Wait, you think it turns you into a Yeti?
If
Perhaps.
you keep talking, I will curse you. How about that, Grimes? Shush.
Grimes sulks at the entrance to the cave, playing with his winch.
Ferris, do you recognize Skull?
Does it look familiar in any way?
It's a weird fucking skull.
Does it look like elven weird? Do we have sharp, pointy teeth, Neal?
You don't have sharp, pointy teeth. None of the elves you've ever met have had sharp, pointy teeth. But also, I don't think you've ever seen the skull of a humanoid creature other than a human. I don't think any of you have seen any non-human.
I've probably seen a goblin
maybe like a
skull.
goblin skull.
Yeah.
We
It's
saw
not a
a whole
goblin skull.
pile of gnoll skulls.
It's not a gnoll skull. It's not a human skull. It's not a goblin skull. It's
Is it a
something.
Yeti skull?
Is it bigger
You
than
would
a
have
human
to
skull?
like rip the Yeti's head apart to tell.
I mean, we'll have time for that later once I've like prepared all the organs.
Ferris, this is clearly a skull of a kinsman. This is elven.
Oh.
The teeth, if you see here, they have been filed, broken down to point, and later healed. But the skull itself, clearly elf.
What kind of weirdo would...
Why would you file your...
Yeah. Well, maybe for better eating humans, eh, Forrest?
I can't imagine my people would have grown that desperate. Don't flatter yourselves. You don't taste as good as you think, William.
Well, I should say, teeth filed while alive. You can see from the healing later. The striations here and here. This was clearly done while living.
Does Yaramir have any folklore that would apply here?
That is an excellent question. Do I have any elven folklore that would apply here?
Like, are there legend of wild elves that file their teeth and replace their eyes with rubies?
No, there are no legends of that.
I have a question, Neal. In your thief rebuild, is there any equivalent to reading languages?
No.
So thieves no longer have that
Yes.
niche in the party.
Yes.
Is it the rubies that glow on the skull?
The rubies. It takes a
William.
little investigation to figure it out, but it's not too hard to do.
Are you touching it now too?
William, pained as I am to say it, I believe you may remember that part of the terms of my coming here was that any elven artifacts we found were to go to me.
You think this is an elven artifact?
If it's an elven skull, absolutely.
I look at the others.
I would
Let's just-
first request opportunity to further identify skull as possible magical item.
Absolutely.
Let's just
I mean, it's
find out what it does.
certainly magical, but yes, that would be fine. You won't destroy it, will you?
No, this is not something I will do.
Then feel free. So long as the skull winds up in my possession at the end.
Excellent.
So what are you suggesting we do with the stuff then? What do you think we can take?
I suggest we carry as much as we can on sled, as much as is reasonable, along with survival equipment, and leave what is too heavy or too much in cave. This is difficult place for anything to reach, and we slaughtered Yeti that live here.
It's
Yeah.
getting down from the cliff that I'm worried about. I think if we can get stuff to the sled, then we might be alright. We can just go a bit slower, but...
Can we not drop down cliff? Is
Down-
anything too fragile here to...
Down
Ocean.
the cliff is ocean.
We climbed the cliff from something,
We
right?
climbed
Right, but you went
horizontally.
Horizontally.
Yeah.
So we were like following an oceanside
ledge.
path.
You are
and the
very
path
strong.
ended.
Can William you not make baseball toss? Very far across to...
Grimes
Neal, is
seems
there
to have
any-
no problem scaling this mountainside. Perhaps he could do it in a few trips.
Yeah, maybe.
Grimes, you are expert in mountain, no? Perhaps you can do scouting while I do magic scouting, and you find way down easier.
You don't think I already led you up the easiest route?
I think that perhaps
think-
we only investigated route for like 20-ish minutes. Perhaps there is more hidden route.
Believe me, Yaramir, if there were an easier route, I would have dragged you up that one instead.
I like rub my scraped face and I'm like, okay.
There's no rope in here, is there, Neal?
No, but there's 50 feet of chain. Rusted chain.
10 feet of chain.
10
right?
feet of chain, 50 pounds. Yes.
So while we're up here, we never did find Bakasa. He must be out in the tundra somewhere. Those tracks were heading out into the tundra right before they got destroyed.
I suppose there could be another tomb in the mountainside.
It's been weeks. Bokassa could be anywhere.
Is it possible Bokassa was in Pyre?
Possible.
Quite
But there would still be
possible.
remaining gnolls unless they all burn themselves to death in that pile.
I doubt that. But the Gnolls spoke about the wall. This mountain range could be the wall. In which case, maybe there is more caves, more man-made structures here.
We know they went south when we were following them, but it's possible that they have a tomb slightly north of us.
Yeah, I don't know whether it might be worth Grimes just doing a little bit of scouting.
I'll scout, but what sort of rubbish wall has holes in it? I
Well,
think
they're not
perhaps the only way is up and over.
One that you can see through?
No, but didn't Bokassa say that he got those weapons from a tomb within the wall?
Something like that,
Well, this isn't a tomb, so maybe there must be something else.
No. I think this was a happy little accident.
Yeah, right, exactly. But we
Has
still
the
came
fog,
down
the
here
fog
for a reason.
cleared, right, Neal?
The fog has cleared. Yes, that's what allows you to see the lighthouse.
Yeah. I think the sun is setting at this point.
Maybe.
Tell me, pardon, I have random thought that needs to be vanquished from mind. Did any of you bring dry alcohol, like rum, rye, from fort?
Can't say I did.
Yeah, that feels like something
saved my
Grimes
drinking for when I'm
wishes
off
he
duty.
had, but I don't have it written on my character sheet, unless it's included with rations.
Grimes, I have a favor to ask of you. Can you take me back down cliff? I need to get to ocean.
I take a peek off the ledge. How far down is it to the ocean? Neal?
It's a good, like, 60 feet, 70 feet down.
I'd advise against that.
Oh wait, we
I
found
look
salt,
too.
right?
William,
Never
yeah.
mind. Yaromir is too scatterbrained at moment. I need salt.
Salt?
Right.
There's plenty.
So-
Help yourself.
Armir takes some salt, takes a silver coin, and eats them.
Old habits, eh?
I mean, yeah, that's actually happening, but I need salt for other reasons too. So I take like I take 2 pinches of salt, and like wrap them up, and I'd save that. And then I try to create, to the best of my ability, a solution of like 40% salt and the rest melted snow
Okay.
in one of the jars.
Okay. You have a salty solution.
Excellent. And then I'm going to consume the 2 pinches of salt and like do my best to scrape some silver off of a coin.
Okay.
And to consume those. And I kind of look like apologetically towards Grimes and I say, you might feel a bit uncomfortable. And then I begin drawing a very large rune around me.
I start backing up, probably all the way to the ledge, and I'm like looking over, contemplating whether or not to jump. But I think the spell gets off before.
Yeah, I begin
before I
drawing
make
a very
my
large
ledge.
rune of. I want it to look. You know what? No, I begin drawing the detect magic rune the rune that guides the detection of magic to aid in my meditation. So I begin drawing this large circle that radiates 10 spikes, and at the edge of each spike, I guess I place like a silver coin. And inside at the center, I sit down and I meditate and I focus upon this Yeti's eye. And I attempt to see the like wave of magic that has fallen apart from it. And I study this for like a large period of time. Like this is essentially like a very long ritual that takes maybe an hour or more as I study the fabric of magic that has been frayed from this eye. And as I get comfortable with the magic and how it touches this eye, I attempt to replace it by very carefully and from memory placing the image on the back of away from the opposite side of the cornea of the eye on my forehead.
I knew we had those eye surgery gifts for a reason.
I'm a little confused here. How is this relating to the thing on your forehead? Are you like shoving your face into the Yeti face and then putting the eye there, or I feel like I missed something.
I'm creating a magic symbol on the eye.
Ah.
Right? I'm taking the magic fray and like studying it. And then attempting to replace it. And I don't know what was there before, so I'm replacing it with something from memory.
So are you
and I have a
drawing this on the Yeti eye?
Forehead, so I'm replacing it with that, because that seems to be a correlation in my mind.
You physically drawing it?
Yeah.
So you're drawing in runes on the floor or like on the eye?
On the eye. Like, so I've created this rune of detect magic on the floor to help focus my magical energies. And then on the eye, very carefully, as I examined the frayed magic around it, I began the process of carving the magic rune of the eye.
Okay.
What spell does the eye represent?
I don't know.
Oh, badass.
Okay.
Okay.
And this might take an hour or two. Like, this is a long, kind of protracted ritual.
This is the eye from you, right, that you're drawing?
Yes. The one from my forehead.
Is that the detect magic spell, or is that a spell you don't know?
It's a spell I don't know.
Do either of you have any idea what he's doing?
I think I don't know, but I
think Ferris is like busy gutting this Yeti as he says.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that scouting. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. When it becomes clear he's not hexing me, I think I may slip out. Neal, does the Yeti path continue past the cave? Right, so there's a cave from north, from the trail to the cave. Is there a path further, or is this like the end?
This is the end.
Is there any path up?
Mm-mm.
Can I see any hand?
There's not clear paths, but as an expert climber, you can look around this area and be like, these are very climbable rocks. Someone who was a skilled climber could go north. Or
what if I was a skilled
across.
Climber with a 12-foot wingspan? Does that
it would probably be a lot easier?
With that perspective, do I now see handholds that I didn't realize, like non-human handholds? Like, would this have been simple for a Yeti to climb?
Why don't you make me a gauge check? What a wonderful use of that skill.
I really need to figure out how Greg programmed in those macros.
I can teach you. It's not very hard, but it'll take some time.
So I gauge probably the distance between appropriate handholds and ledges or something like that.
Yeah, there are definitely handholds for someone with a 12-foot orb span.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are there any that go? Are there any that go anywhere else though? Is it just the one path? They're all over the mountain.
They go to the other side. They go up. You see at least 3 routes.
Do I see any that I am feeling gung-ho to climb, or is that not?
They would all be a little bit tricky for you. I would need you to make me a climb check on any of them other than the one you've already traversed. And they all look pretty difficult, especially for your other companions.
Yeah. out of pittons, which is a bummer. But I do have 24 feet of rope. So I think I will do at least like some lookout scouting. So I'll tie into my last pitton and climb 20 feet up and probably 20 feet past the cave.
All right, so Grimes is outside climbing around. Yaromir, you've been going through this ritual, engraving in this or drawing on this eye. With what? What is your drawing implement?
I'm essentially just carving it very carefully into the eye, so
With
it's
like a
not
knife?
colored. Yeah, like it's just I'm just very carefully making very small cuts into it, so that like engraved essentially into the eye is this rune.
Is this rune of an eye with like wreathed
in flames, right? Yeah.
Right. So you finish your engraving, you finish your ritual, and the runes sort of just kind of like almost like soak into the eye, or the eye like heals over them, or the runes kind of sort of disappear a little bit. And for a brief moment, maybe all of 1 second, the eyeball kind of opens, the iris opens, and instead of that like deep blue, there's a bright purple, like a bright but deep colored purple, in the eye, and it twitches, and then like dies again.
Okay.
Do I see that?
Are you watching him do this stuff?
Yeah, probably.
Then,
But
yeah.
he's probably holding it though, so if I'm behind him, I might not see it. But
I mean, it starts to glow purple for a moment. You definitely see some purple light if you're even slightly paying attention.
so I just, wide-eyed and shocked, but don't say anything and wait for Yaromir to do something.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I nudge Faris from skinning the Yeti.
What?
Nod towards Yaromir and his magic eye. You're right over there, Yaromir.
I probably don't respond. I'm probably like still caught up in this ritual at the moment that happens, and I'm just examining the eye essentially. Like I just continue to meditate on this eye for a little bit while longer to see. I'm examining the trails of magic and see how they've been healed and how they've been changed by this ritual around this eye.
Don't disturb him. The less he gets interrupted, the sooner he'll be finished.
At this point, Grimes swings back in, and there's a as he drags the chain outside of the cave and continues to play.
At that point, that's probably what finally ends the ritual. Is maybe it was coming slowly to a close, and there might have been another 15 or 10 minutes, but then there's of chain. I'm like,
oh, sorry, did I interrupt? I would like to secure the chain to the last pitton, and I think I can actually use this to make our climb back a lot safer.
Okay.
Because before I was limited by my length of rope. How do the links compare to the head on the pittons? Can I slide a link over a pitton, or is it something that would need to be hammered through? Do they need to be secured with a length of rope?
It's only 10 feet long.
The chain will not go through the eye hole of the pitton, and it is too small to go around the hole of the pitton. The chain's also rusted, so there are some sections where the chain won't bend, where it's a solid bar. It's been rusted fused together.
It seem strong enough that I would trust it with our weight? Probably more so than rope, correct? Or no?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even though it's rusted iron, it's still 5 pounds to a foot of iron, so there's still a lot of it, and none of it is cracked or looks like it's breaking.
Can you remind me the length of the span that we climbed across? It was
50 feet.
It was only 50 feet?
Wasn't it? Was it 80 feet? Might have been 80 feet.
I think it was 80 feet.
80 feet sounds better. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense, because there's 20 feet of rope, right? It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think the chain's going to help us get us across?
I think it will. So I will cut off 1 foot of rope and attach it to one end of the chain, maybe both ends. I'll cut off 2 feet of rope and attach it to both ends of the chain.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So there's a loop of rope at either end of the chain that can be used to secure it to pittons and things.
Okay, so your 24-foot rope is now a 20-foot rope.
22-foot rope. There's 1 foot of rope at either end of the chain that can be used to affix it to, in this case, pittons.
Okay.
I'll explain how we use that to climb back when we actually climb back.
Sure.
But for now, I'm using chain and rope to scout around without having to risk climbing checks or anything.
Fair enough.
Do I get a sight of anything going 30 feet up or 30 feet past the cave?
Nothing interesting.
Do I see any ledges that tempt me to go further, or is it just like...
No, it's just more wall and ice and rock and snow.
Okay. I think eventually we bed down for the night. Is there anything else we want to do?
I want to rest for a few days.
Yeah.
I'm worried I
Days?
might... Yes.
What's your HP?
4.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, like if I fall, I'm dead.
So
Maybe
why
we
don't
can
you
dead it.
guys take a nap, and we'll take a break, and when we come back, you guys will be done with your nap, and we will get you guys going home to Fort Wick.
Cool.
All
All right.
See you guys on the other side of our break. Bye-bye.